Welcome back now to an NBC News exclusive, raising new questions about the claimed effectiveness of last month's U.S. airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. 5 current and former U.S. officials tell NBC News that the American strikes destroyed only one of the 3 nuclear sites targeted, according to a new assessment. 2 current officials say that U.S. authorities believe the attack on Fordo set back enrichment capabilities at the crucial facility by as much as 2 years. But according to this new assessment, Iran could resume enrichment at the other 2 facilities that were targeted in the next several months, which runs counter to the president's repeated claims that those facilities were, quote, totally obliterated. NBC News senior national security correspondent Courtney Kube helped break that story. She joins me now. So, Courtney, the Trump administration said an initial intelligence assessment that refuted the president's claims that the strikes totally obliterated Iran's nuclear program was too preliminary. Is this the latest assessment more credible because it now comes more than 3 weeks later?
Remember, Ryan, as time goes on, they will gather more information that will make the picture of exactly what happened at each of these 3 locations more and more clear and more complete. This is another snapshot in time that provides more information that they've been able to gather over these times. So yes, with every one of these additional assessments, they learn information. But the officials who we spoke with were also very clear to point out that, yes, as a snapshot, it's possible that even this assessment could change, and that their view over the damage at each of these locations could evolve over time.
So you report that the strikes on Fordo set back uranium enrichment by as much as 2 years. Do U.S. officials see Fordo as the most important of these 3 Iranian facilities?
It was definitely the one that they laid the most firepower on. You'll recall that was where they dropped most of those massive ordnance penetrators. We often call them the bunker busters, these 30,000-pound bombs. But it was also, as we've been hearing about for weeks now, it was buried deep underground, under concrete, under reinforced steel. So it was a difficult one to target. But what's key here is Fordo is also the location where Iran was enriching uranium to its highest levels. So even if there was uranium at lower enrichment levels at other locations, if Fordo is damaged or badly or destroyed even, then it's difficult, if not impossible, for some period of time, as much as 2 years we've learned, for Iran to be able to enrich uranium to the point of having a potential weapon here.
So if those 2 facilities could be back up and running in 2 months, does the U.S. have any plans to strike those 2 facilities anytime soon?
That's one of the keys, Ryan, and that is the fact that if, in fact, the officials we spoke with said, look, if it appears that Iran is trying to reconstitute their program at either of these at any of these locations, really, but particularly at Isfahan or Natanz, the other 2 locations, that it's possible that the United States or Israel could come in and take follow-on strikes. Also, the officials told us that at this point, they've not seen any indication that that's happening. So things like bringing in construction vehicles to start digging out the tunnels, at this point, the U.S. is not seeing indications of that.
Well, you also have reporting that U.S. Central Command actually developed a more comprehensive plan to strike Iran's nuclear program. Why did President Trump not choose that plan?
And remember, these are plans that have been developed over years. The plans that we learned about, one included strikes that would last 2 weeks to up to a month, extensive aerial bombardment, also striking them from the sea, as we saw in the Operation Midnight Hammer several weeks ago. But the idea here was the U.S. would have gone after 6 locations, not just the 3 that they targeted. President Trump was presented with both options. Again, both options were really developed under the Biden administration and then perhaps changed a bit in recent weeks and months by U.S. Central Command. President Trump, though, selected exactly what was carried out on Operation Midnight Hammer. So that was one wave of strikes, 3 locations. The concern, according to the officials we spoke with, was the possibility of a large number of casualties that could be even Iranians or Americans in a larger strike, and also the assessment that, in fact, they would be able to carry out and they would be able to hopefully achieve their aims with the 3 locations, Ryan.
Okay, Courtney, thank you. Appreciate that. Great reporting.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.